Well, with the pandemic raging on, one frontline profession is dealing with skyrocketing vacancies across Canada. Tens of thousands of nursing jobs are unfilled as the healthcare system copes with the demands of COVID-19. Statistics Canada reports that employment in the healthcare and social assistance industries rose by 19,000 positions last month. The number of hires was eclipsed by the number of vacancies, more than 112,000. It was the highest vacancy rate of any sector. The hiring site Indeed Canada reports that job postings for nursing positions are up almost 50% compared with last February. Meanwhile, though, some promising news. Applications for university nursing programs are up, jumping 72.8% from last year. We're going to explore both sides of that issue. I'm joined now by Doris Grinspun in Toronto. She's the CEO of the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario. And also in Toronto is Rito Creer. He's a first-year nursing student at Ryerson University. And thank you both for being with us here on Canada Tonight. Doris, I want to start with you. Do we know why there is such a shortage of nurses right now?
So let me clarify to you. Not necessarily a shortage of nurses, a shortage of hiring nurses. We, in our own job board, which is the largest, we have 2,500 positions posted of our ends. I mentioned that to several CEOs over this weekend when they were trying to say we need nurses. So we have been saying since, the summer, higher will come the fall. You will see vacancies because the hospitals will be at capacity, nursing homes are at capacity, home care, etc. We are going full tilt in the system, and the hirings in this province have not kept pace with that, Giselle.
So what impact does this have, particularly during a pandemic, Doris?
Huge, because nurses and as doctors and others are exhausted. This has been, like for every Canadian, a very long journey. And this is one of the reasons why, in addition to many other things, we said to the Premier today, premature opening. I know I heard the other people in the news now, but premature opening when the province is, the hospitals are busting at the seams, nursing homes are still in a catastrophic way, and then you have this exhausted workforce with vacancies right, left, and center. Premature opening and it's dangerous for the public in the go forward if we are not careful, especially with the new strains, Gisela. The new strains are unknown, and with the schools opening, we should have waited, we are saying, at least 3 weeks to see if the epidemiological data continues to move in the right direction, and we don't find ourselves surprised.
It's interesting, though, that it sounds like students are heeding the call, and we're hearing universities seeing a surge in applications for nursing programs. So I want to bring in Rito. You moved from Saskatchewan to Toronto to pursue a nursing degree, and just during the pandemic, I guess you made that decision last year. Was there a point where you thought about whether or not this was a career you should pursue, considering we were in the middle of a global pandemic?
Oh, for sure. I think all of us are scared right now. We're all seeing the situation in our world, and we're living through it, and we're studying through it, and we're still going despite all the challenges that we are facing, because we know that the work is never going to stop. Once this pandemic is over, we don't know what's going to happen next. Nursing students right now want to be prepared, and I think we're ready for that. We want to be ready for that, and part of our education is to prepare the future generation of nurses for that.
It's so interesting to me that more people would sign up to be nurses when we hear about how challenging it is. Did you ever consider that maybe this might be a difficult time to enter the nursing industry?
I definitely did. I definitely thought about deferring my acceptance to next year. I really thought about that. But when I really thought about it, I realized that, again, the work doesn't ever stop. Right. I've been seeing so many nurses around the world continuing the fight, continuing working so hard to provide the care that the world needs. And that's what inspired me to keep going. What inspired me, despite the pandemic going on, despite the fear of contracting it, from passing it on, from death, it's still giving me so much hope that eventually one day, hopefully, I'll be able to make a difference in this world by continuing in this profession.
Doris, I see you smiling and nodding. Can you give some
I am
insight?
beaming, Ginella. I am beaming because, Ginella, this is absolutely what's happening. And this is why we are saying to the universities and to the college that they need to increase the uptake of students. This is not only in Ontario, by the way, around the world. The numbers are soaring in nursing. Nursing always has been the most trusted and respected profession in all the public polls. What happens is that the pandemic has become a magnifying glass, right? So let's take more, because we absolutely know that not only now, come the next 2-3 years, retirements will happen.
Right.
Because people have postponed them to serve the public.
And so what, maybe you can give some advice. What can people like Rideau expect when they graduate in, 3-4 years and they enter the workforce? What challenges are nurses facing? And what can they expect when they enter the workforce as nurses?
So number one, I can so relate to him, because I need to tell you that I worked during the time of war, and by the way, became a peace activist as a process. So I know all about that. It was second year of nursing school, and I became who you see now in front of you, a peace activist, a social justice activist, and a nurse in full-blown in practice. So he can expect a journey of amazing opportunities, a journey of amazing impact, a journey where you can make a huge difference for people individually and also for entire communities. Nothing to be afraid of that. It's an honor, it's a pride, but Ginella, we need to treat nurses the way they need and they deserve, the same as for anybody in any other profession. And now is the time to increase the uptake of students into nursing and to give them the conditions that they need to do good work. Let me tell you what's happening. In some places, there is a sick call, they double them up instead of, right? So nurses feel the pinch of wanting to provide the care that they know how to provide, but not always being able. That's what needs to be fixed. More nurses and more nurses in the schools, more students in the schools, and then more nurses in the workforce, and not to continue to delay the hirings, because that is what's happening.
Rideau, can I ask you quickly before we go, what's it been like learning during a pandemic? And do you worry about whether you'll actually be equipped to enter the workforce, given that you're learning in such a strange and different time? Does the classroom look different for you?
It's definitely different for sure. We're pretty much doing everything online. We have no in-person clinicals, but we do have in-person labs, which is pretty much the only thing we have to practice our skills with. But I think despite all of this, we can still be prepared. We just still have to work hard. We still have to keep fighting. As my professors always say, nursing is a lifelong process of growing, of learning, and you don't just become perfect right away. It all is just practice and continuous practice and growth. So I think if me and my fellow nursing students, my fellow future nurses, if we continue fighting and working hard to learn how to do all of this, I think we can be capable of everything in the future. We just have to keep going and working hard.
You will, Rideau. Trust me, you will. This pandemic is not going forever. And I, by the way, learned that you are an RNO member, so double kudos to you. So absolutely, you will become an expert. Will come with time. The pandemic will not last forever. But we need, as Rideau said, Ginella, we need to also fight the good fight of the conditions that nurses deserve, because that's the conditions that patients need for nurses to have.
Doris Grinspun is the CEO of the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario, and Rideau Creer is a first-year nursing student at Ryerson University. Thank you both for being with us here on Canada Tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.